Okay, so actually getting up and moving a little bit here. Ooh, that transmission's super responsive. I'm gonna pop it in the manual setting because I want to see. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be going over the all-new Audi A3. Before we get this video though, as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the strong Audi here in Salt Lake City, Utah, for me some time with this A3. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Landon. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 28 around town and then 38 on the highway, with power outputs being 201 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs and then 221 pound-feet of torque at 1,600 RPMs. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood here, you guys can see you've got distinctive lines there on either side, and you know, I think this white paint looks pretty good. And then coming down below, now that you can see the contrast with the white and the black, it looks really good. So you've got like the blacked out Audi badges, daytime running lights, which actually look really cool here on the A3, parking sensors there on the front end as well. And then when you put it all together, this new A3 looks pretty dang aggressive. Coming around the side here, tire and wheel setup is 225/40/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you can see the design on the wheels is actually really cool. You've got like the silver on the top, the metallic gray below that, and I like how it's kind of like sharp with the edges. And then putting it all together, those wheels really pop out. And again, the blacked out elements, including like the roof there, you can see is kind of blacked out with the sunroof side of things. And then also the trim around the windows, it kind of all pulls it together. So here's our key fob for the A3. You guys can see not much happening there on the back, but on the front, we've got our lock function, the opening for the trunk, and then our unlock function with the Audi logo. So we'll press the trunk function a couple times and it'll pop right open. And then actually popping inside, you guys can see we've got all these rubber floor mats here in the rear, and overall storage space is actually super solid here with the A3. Again, it's not a massive car, but it's pretty dang practical. And then when you're all done, just plop. And then here are the taillights. So in normal Audi fashion, you got a cool like sequential design with the turn signal. And then you can see all the badges are blacked out here on the back as well. And no exhaust tip popping out, but you can see the design at the bottom kind of makes it look like there'd be something. And then there's also parking sensors in the back. Now for me personally, I've actually never been a fan of the A3 when it comes to styling because I've always felt like it's looked too like stubby, but they have nailed it with this new A3. The proportions are just absolutely fantastic. And then taking a look at the door panel in the back, you guys can see the silver trim that goes to the handle itself, and look at the padding down below and like that cross-stitch design. That's pretty fancy. And now taking a look at these seats, you guys can see the stitching there in the center, and pretty nice looking seat overall. Legroom back here is actually pretty dang solid. You got a little cargo net right there for storage. We've got some vents here for the rear passengers, and I can actually adjust the temperature, and then some USBs. And then headroom's also really good. And of course, we have, if I can pull it out, the cup holder armrest. And then taking a look at the front door panel here, you guys can see again the silver trim that goes to the handle. That is really cool. And then there's a quick look at the mirrors. And then you've got all of your window controls down below. Again, that padding just like what you have in the back. And there's the door panel. Now these front seats are actually pretty dang fancy. You have like suede here on the side around of the seat, which is kind of interesting, but then the same design there in the center of the seat. And then we do have all of our power adjustments right there. Pretty normal pedal layout here at the bottom, and then you guys can see all the controls for the lights. So here's our steering wheel for the A3. You guys can see the leather trim all around, and then you got the darker stitching in the center to match everything. We've got our controls for like the voice command, phone controls, volume controls on the steering wheel, paddle shifters for that 7-speed dual clutch there, and then you guys can see we've got this for the view button for the center, and then we've got some other controls for the center stack as well. Turn signal stock, cruise control stock, windshield wiper stock. Now we have this cool full digital gauge cluster, and if you want to make things go away, you can just press the view button, which is pretty neat overall. But yep, it looks great, and that's all. Now I do have a backup camera here with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution's solid. And then here's the infotainment system. First off, shortcut bar here on the side, and overall response time with that shortcut bar is pretty solid. It does take a second for certain pages to load up, but you can see pretty easy to use overall. And then we go to the vehicle tab. This is where you guys can see stuff like, I guess, your efficiency assist, but the drive mode select. So we have a comfort, auto, dynamic, and then an individual mode as well. I guess we're in dynamic, but we'll go to auto. And then down below, you guys can see we've got our dual zone climate system, heated seats for the front. And then down below that, drive mode, select stability control, auto stop start, and then your hazard lights. I suppose that's our little charging area with a couple of USBs. And then you can see our stop start button right here. And then this is your little volume control circle thing. Not sure how to feel about it. I had it in the new Audi e-tron GT, and I got annoyed with it from time to time. And then we have our like shaver shifter thing. I'm not sure what this is about, but I mean, it feels really like premium for a car in this segment, which is nice. Parking brake here, and then you guys can see a little 12 volts, got a couple cup holders, and then look at this center console lid. This thing's nice, decent storage space too. That's cool. They put like the cross stitching design here on the dash, and then you guys can see down below, we've got the little Audi logo right there. And then glove box has decent storage space. And then up top here, you got a control for the sunroof, and it's just one of those shades that you can pull backwards and forwards. So here's our window sticker for this 2023 Audi A3. And see all the standard equipment there. And then warranty information for your 50,000 mile new vehicle warranty. Base MSRP, $34,900. And notice FWD, so this is front wheel drive. This has stuff like the black optics package, which is definitely worth it. I think it makes it look a whole lot better. But anyways, total MSRP, $38,675. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. Okay, so we are officially setting off in the A3, and I had to wait for this stupid truck to get out of the way. They were sitting there for like a minute straight, not moving, and I kept trying to go around them, and then they kept blocking me. But anyways, actually setting off here on the A3. This is a funny situation because I reviewed the RS3 and now I'm reviewing the A3. I haven't reviewed the S3, so I guess that I always review like the top dog car, and then I eventually review the base model, and then maybe sometimes I review the in-between package on a car. But seat comfort's actually really good here with the A3. I do like the heated seat function. That's definitely welcome here in the winter. And you know, aside from that, I like the steering wheel. It feels really premium in your hands. That's also a big plus. Suspension feels pretty good too. You know, I kind of you know, I thought that it was only worth getting like the bigger Audis when it came to comfort, because, you know, it just makes sense. Bigger vehicles can be more comfortable, but you know, the smaller Audis are actually pretty comfortable as well. I did review the RS6 today with the air suspension, and RS5 as well, and you know, those are definitely a little bit more comfortable than this. The RS6, I mean, that's like full on like cloud luxury car level of comfort, but this is, I feel like this is good enough. So small. That's the thing I like about this. It kind of has this like, you know, it is lightweight, and so it kind of has that fun nimble feel about it. And I'm not noticing it's front wheel drive yet. We'll see if that changes, but so far it feels just like any other Audi pretty much. And I mean, something to note is Audi's Quattro system definitely is a little bit more front biased. It sends a little bit more power to the front rather than the rear with most of their cars. And I'm also just really impressed with this interior. That's one of the benefits of buying a, you know, entry-level luxury car, is you get a lot of switchgear and materials and everything from higher end models, like the door handle, for example, stuff like that. So it makes this car feel a lot more expensive and premium than its price suggests, because if you get like a car at this price point from a non-luxury automaker, it's not going to look nearly this nice on the exterior, and the interior is not going to feel as premium as what this feels like. But let's pop into the dynamic, and I'm interested to also see the transmission response. So it's in S. Audi's got pretty solid transmissions, but it's always interesting to see how the transmissions respond with the different powertrains, because obviously there's always different tuning depending on what, you know, engine a transmission is paired to. Okay, so actually getting up and moving a little bit here. Ooh, that transmission's super responsive. I'm gonna pop in the manual setting because I want to see with the paddles. That was weird. It like took a second to downshift. Yeah, so the downshifts aren't all that like, huh, that's weird. It doesn't seem like it likes to downshift. They're kind of slow, but the upshift seemed pretty quick. We'll see here with the acceleration. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. It's better in automatic mode than it is in manual mode, frankly. I'm gonna kind of slow down here again and super torquey. You still don't feel this, like, it kind of feels like it's pulling from the front, but it doesn't wheel hop or anything like that. It puts down the power really well. So I think they've done a good job with the overall setup. So summing things up here with this, I love how this looks. It's super good looking. The interior is really nice, again, especially considering the price point. And man, I don't really have anything bad to say about it other than the transmission's not as responsive as I would have thought. Again, I've driven, you know, a bunch of different Audis with a bunch of different engines and everything, and this seems to be kind of like the, I don't know, the least responsive with the transmission. Especially when, I mean, compared to the RS3, like, definitely. But I mean, yeah, it's interesting. Even, I feel like even compared to an A4, so seems like this is kind of more geared towards economy, which makes sense. Let me know what you guys think about the new A3. I think this looks good. I think that, you know, you get a lot of equipment for the price, and it look like, yeah, it's just, I know this is crazy to say with a luxury manufacturer, but I think this is a pretty good value. That's because something's up with our video on this Audi A3. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Strong Volkswagen here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this A3. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Ask for Landon if you have any questions. I'll see ya.